Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's postgame press conference with Gardner-Webb. We will begin with an opening statement from head coach Alex Simmons, followed by questions for the players. Once the players are dismissed, questions for the head coach will follow. Go ahead and Coach Simmons.
I think our team fought extremely hard, especially in the third quarter. We tied the third quarter. Obviously, Utah is a team that once they get in the flow, it's tough to stop them, especially when they're making threes, how they did in the second half. I thought our team did a great job of making adjustments, taking some adversity, because we had a lot of adversity during that game. I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of the fight we had tonight. I told the team in the locker room, one game can't define the historic season that we've had. So hopefully they'll keep their head high and we'll learn from this and move on.
Go ahead with questions for the players.
Jessica, how tough was it when a lot of you, three of you, got early fouls? It seemed like you were trying to play very physical in the beginning, but then once you picked up fouls, it seemed like you had to back off a little bit. Was that tough to play through the foul trouble?
Yes, it was. It was very tough. I mean, it's kind of like we were barely touching them and their whistles were blowing. So we realized we just had to back up a little bit.
And then personally, what does it mean to you to be the second leading scorer in the university history? Even though you didn't get the win, what does that mean to you personally?
I mean, like Coach Alex said, we made history. So all I can do is be proud of what I did and what my team did this year.
Please raise your hand to ask a question.
Coach, it seems like you took away their three-point. They've been a good three-point shooting team in that first half, especially. But you were giving up some points in the post. I mean, what was kind of your hope in that and trying to be able to counter what they were able to do?
Well, we're a pressing team, and we're a pressuring team, so we knew that we could take advantage of them with our pressure, especially when it came to turnovers and then trying to convert some of those turnovers. We knew we were going to leave our fives and four players sometimes out to dry, and it's going to be a one-on-one game. They were able to get us pretty deep in the paint for a little bit longer than what we're used to. Alyssa Peely is very good around the basket, especially when it comes to counter moves, faking a move to make a move. But we thought that our pressure would hurt them. Our pressure would slow them down a little bit, and they wouldn't be able to run what they wanted to.
Do we have any other questions for the student athletes?
I was just really impressed with your defense, Ms. Kane. Just wondered how you felt like you did tonight and what this experience has been for you in the NCAA tournament.
As far as my defense, I was just locked into what my head coach, Coach Alex, was telling me before the game. I already know what kind of player I am offensively and defensively, so I was just trying to lock into the details. She told me if I pressure the ball, it's going to end up in my hands. So I try to just do whatever my head coach tell me. As far as experience-wise, it's been awesome. I mean, I wouldn't ask for another team. We've been through so much on and off the floor, and people really wouldn't imagine, everything we did. We've been through off the floor. So for us to come together and have this historic season is really good, and that's all we can really ask for. I mean, of course, we want to win, but we did everything. Like, no other team probably in Gardner-Webb history will do what we did. So we should just keep our head up and keep moving.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay, thank you. Yeah, you got it. Next up, questions for your head coach.
Josh Newman, Salt Lake Tribune. Alex, you can scout and watch film and prep for this opponent, but what is it like when you actually get out there and you see Utah and having to deal with what they do?
Our team was a little shocked because of certain things when we finally were able to see Utah in person. Scouting is one of my favorite things to do as a coach and as a head coach. And I thought we came into the game with a great game plan. I think foul trouble really got us out of the flow of what we wanted to do. But again, the way they shoot the three, the way Alyssa Peely finishes inside, it's always going to be a tough matchup no matter who they play.
You cut the lead to 10 in the third quarter. I mean, kind of what was your message to your team, knowing that you kind of had them on their heels a little bit?
We were getting stops, and that was my message to them. We've been talking about ever since our championship game, defense wins championships, and we wanted to come in with that same defensive mentality. I thought we cut it to 8, even there for a little bit. I believe we fouled a 3-point shooter, and that kind of cut our momentum. But I felt pretty good, actually, when we cut it to 8, because we were able to do what we wanted to do, but especially being aggressive on the defensive end.
Any other questions for Coach Simmons? All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
the practice guy like apologizes to me. He's like, I'm so sorry.
She can't be signing autographs, is she?
Something about after a game, something with some spice, like a curry maybe, a spicy noodle, these types of things. Thank you for being here, by the way, from the Utah Chronicle.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Utah Utes press conference. First off, congratulations to Utah on the win. We will begin with an opening statement from head coach Lynn Roberts, followed by questions for the players. Once the players are dismissed, questions for Coach Roberts can follow. As a reminder to the media, please state your organization before asking a question, and then we do have our pass mic, so when you do have a question, just raise your hand and we'll get that to you. So we'll get started with Coach Roberts.
I appreciate you guys being here so much. It matters, and covering women's basketball is so important. I think just seeing you all here, I really do appreciate it, and the work that you do for our sport. I want to also congratulate Gardner-Webb on a great season. I was impressed with their competitiveness. I think, we were just bigger, but they didn't quit, and they're well coached, and they had won 21 games in a row coming into this thing. That's hard to do, as I've said. So just congratulations to them on a great season. No game in this tournament is easy. I thought we controlled the game the whole time, but we had some peaks and valleys of great play and kind of loose play. But we scored 103. The statistic that stands out to me is we had 32 assists on 37 made baskets. That's remarkable, and that's a sign of an unselfish team. We also scored 103 points and only hit 7 threes. I know 7 is a good number, but it's 21 points. But a lot of times when teams score 100 points, it's because they've hit a ton of threes. And so our ability to score inside, Jenna and Alyssa today were phenomenal, and they just didn't have an answer for it. But a combined 22 of 31, that's pretty dang good. So I'm proud of our team. Every game is hard. I also want to say that the crowd was phenomenal. Not only were there a lot of bodies there, but they were loud and engaged, and it makes a difference. It really does. And I think back to a year ago this week when we were in Texas playing it, they were the 2 seed, and we played them on Sunday, and the crowd mattered. So I'm hopeful that we can get even a bigger one on Sunday. We're going to play NC State and Princeton are both really, really good, very, very good. And so we're going to need them. But I appreciate everyone that came out today, and I appreciate all of you.
Questions for the players?
Matthew Coles, Associated Press. Alyssa, the Gardner-Webb coach and players said that they felt that they were prepared before the game, but during the game, they were not ready for your counters, especially. And because they're a pressuring team, they left it one-on-one down low. What were you able to do down there to be so successful?
I think just posting up hard whenever I had the opportunity, and it's mostly just my teammates finding me, and just hitting me when I'm in those one-on-one situations. So, I just kind of just let the game come to me and took advantage of those situations.
When someone's trying to be physical with you down low and pressuring you, what are those counter moves that you can make?
Kind of just getting them to go one way and then just going the other, and just using my finishing ability well, and
I do think it's important. I don't want to, but she had 8 assists, so I don't know how many points she was involved in. Math is hard, but to have 8 assists and 33 points, that as an opposing coach, that's really hard. So, well done, you.
And 8 rebounds.
Josh Newman, Salt Lake Tribune. Jenna, when things are working early, whether it's the high-low stuff with Alyssa or doing whatever you want down low at the rim, how much do you guys try to not get away from what's working? Like, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just keep going at them kind of with what's working.
Yeah, I feel like we have so many weapons offensively, so I think if the defense takes away one, we could just have another one. So, we're getting a lot of points down low early, and then when they try to collapse on us, we can kick it out and hit threes. So I think that's really, really hard to guard, and we'll take whatever the defense gives us.
Josh Furlong, KSL.com. For either one of you, you guys had maybe an uncharacteristic amount of turnovers tonight. They kind of did some things to be able to help that. But when you have that, is it just nice to be able to get this first game out of the way, to be able to kind of settle in and feel like you've hit a rhythm, or kind of what kind of goes into going into these types of tournaments?
Yeah, it's definitely nice to get this first game out of the way. We haven't played in a week and a half now, and obviously our last game wasn't great. So it's nice just to get another one under our belts, especially here back in Utah. I think that's going to give us a lot more confidence going into Sunday.
Holly Rowe, ESPN, had a couple of questions. First, they got within 8 at one point, and Coach had a very animated huddle I could overhear a little bit of. I wondered what was that conversation in that moment, because you went on a run from there and didn't look back. That's for both players.
Whenever we're not playing to our potential, she lets us know, and I think we respond well to her just getting at us and or coaching us in that way. So, she just was telling us, this is not good enough because we're way better than what we're putting out, and it's tournament time, so everything matters that we do on the court.
Yeah, I feel like that specific timeout, I remember it being about lack of focus. We had just had a timeout, talked about some things, and then went out and didn't execute them. And obviously in March, we're only guaranteed, that 40 minutes each game, so there's no time just to goof around and think we're going to win it. So just refocusing us and make sure we go out there with intensity.
And then my second question, Alyssa, you're close to a triple-double, and Coach takes you out with 4 minutes and 15 seconds left. Was there any conversation?
Thank you, Holly.
I know you got a game Sunday, so it's the smartest thing to do, but I wondered, was there any temptation to leave you in, or did you guys talk about that or know about it at all?
I don't say much when she takes me out of the game. I just go down the line, high five, and take my seat.
Yes, I was tracking, but we need her. Once the game was in hand, it's tempting, as you say, but the smart thing to do is to rest and make sure there's no injury.
Next question up front.
Hi, Lisa Antonucci from NBC Sports on Her Turf. For Alyssa, I've read a couple things from your season, from you and from Coach, talking about how you've really thrived at Utah this year. How satisfying has this season been for you?
Very. I think just seeing that the hard work has been rewarded with just everything that's come with this season. It's just been great to be a part of, and I believe that everything happens for a reason, and like this was just meant to be my home. So I'm just glad I made the move, and yeah, I'm just happy to be at Utah.
Thank you. And for Jenna, what's it been like to have Alyssa as a teammate? For her to come in this season, you get to watch this unfold.
So good. No, she's been great. I mean, you guys see her. She's a phenomenal player. She makes all of our lives a lot easier. She gets banged up in the post, takes a little bit of that for me, so that's nice. And then also, if they, like, I'll double down in on her, she kicks it out. And, I mean, 8 assists, again, like, she's so unselfish. So you just like to play with people like that. She's an incredible teammate, so I'm really thankful to have her.
Thank you.
This will be the final question.
Hi, Melissa Yak, Deseret News. Can you talk a little bit about what a special place the Huntsman Center has been this season, and kind of after having the break and the loss to Washington State and coming into this arena?
It's been great. I mean, our attendance has just climbed a lot from the start of the season to now, and today it was rocking in there, and it just gives you such an advantage, and especially just being kind of putting Utah on the map now. Like, all the great teams have really good home court advantage, and you see that we're starting to have that too. So it helps us a lot. It's really fun to play in, and yeah, it's great.
I agree.
Well said.
All right, players, you guys are dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, y'all. Thanks.
All right, well, now I'll start with questions for head coach Lynn Roberts. We'll start here.
Josh Newman, Salt Lake Tribune. Lynn, there's more parity in the women's game than there has been in recent years, but a team like Gardner-Webb probably has not seen a player like Alyssa very much playing in the Big South. Did you get a sense that they just didn't quite know what to do with her, especially early?
Yeah, I think I think we realized early that they were going to go one-on-one in the post, and so we just kept going high-low, and then they were trying to front, and so it was they and then they got in foul trouble. But yeah, I've been on that side of it where you watch film and you think, okay, we got this, like we know what we're gonna do, and then you get out there and it's not as everything's easier on film, and it's that Mike Tyson quote of everyone has a game plan until they get punched in the mouth. Like, she's just it's such a luxury to have a player like that. But I think the size, our size, I think was a big factor today.
Josh Furlong, KSL.com. Lynn, can you kind of tell us your perspective from when they cut the lead to 8, and kind of just also as well as the turnovers and kind of all that was going on at that moment?
I thought we were on a good positive stint here, but it was frustrating. I was frustrated. There was no panic, or I still felt we had control of the game. We were just, in a word, casual. And some of the turnovers were infuriating, passing out of bounds, and just things that if you want to advance in this tournament, if we want to go farther, we can't have. So it's nice that, we're lucky that we were able to win and still make those mistakes, but moving forward, that's not going to be the case. So my mindset was to just try to get their attention, splash some water on their face, figuratively. I did not do that. And just get them to focus. And, there's a lot of distractions. The NCAA tournament is different. It just feels different. And, these guys are young and they're figuring it out, but it's a good learning experience. And, it's one thing to say it's a learning experience, another thing to then actually apply it and be different on Sunday.
Hi, Coach. Circling back to about Alyssa a little bit, what has it been like for you to watch her blossom this year, to really come back and thrive? And what do you think made the difference?
I mean, it's been very rewarding. I mean, I think all of us coaches, you coach to empower and impact young people. I mean, yes, we need to win, and yes, we want, recruiting and all that stuff, but it's the most rewarding when you see a college kid choose to make the right choices. She came here because she felt like she wasn't reaching her potential in a sentence, and she put responsibility on herself for that. it was less about where she was and just kind of how she was, her choices and all that kind of stuff. So when she got here, we had very candid conversations about here's what you need to do, and you need to adjust and adapt to us. We're not going to adapt to you. You need to get in the best shape of your life. And as I've said many times, that's easy to say, like, okay, yep, I will. It's really, really hard to do. And the discipline that she's had, when no one's watching, when no one's looking, when everyone else is asleep, all her teammates are asleep, to get up and get herself in the shape she's in. And then, the buy-in that we've had from her has been really fun. She is, you can hear how her teammates talk about her. There's no ego with Alyssa, which allows everybody to support her and, promote her. So it's been really cool. And like I said, as a coach, to see a young person kind of choose the right way and have the discipline to do that, it's incredibly rewarding.
Any other questions for Coach Roberts? All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. See you Sunday. Let's go. Need y'all here. Appreciate it. Go Utes.